In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep.
Beyond the familiar tale of Adam and Eve lies a shadowy world of secrets. One such tale is hidden within the ancient pages of the Book of Jubilees, a text that reveals a complex web of relationships that existed in our earliest lineage. There, a mysterious figure named Azura, who is said to be the daughter of Eve, emerges, her story interwoven with the lives of Abel and Seth. What secrets does this forgotten character hold? And how does her presence unravel the mysteries of our ancient past? Join us on this journey as we explore the dark and mysterious tales found within the pages of the Book of Jubilees. We all are familiar with the biblical story of Adam and Eve and how they were cast out of the Garden of Eden because they disobeyed God. After leaving the garden, they went to toil the earth. Years later, they gave birth to Cain and Abel, but due to jealousy, Cain killed Abel. After Abel's death, Adam and Eve bore another child and called him Seth. The Bible went on to say they gave birth to more children, and that's where the narrative ended. If you dig deeper into the ancient pages of the Bible, you'll find some stories that aren't as well known as others. These stories focus on people who are often overshadowed by more famous characters like Cain and Abel. In Genesis chapter 5, verses 4 and 5, there are hints about Adam and Eve's other children. It seems like they had many sons and daughters over 800 years. Unfortunately, not much is known about these children, and their stories have been forgotten over time. But if you explore Jewish traditions that go beyond the usual stories, you might come across texts like the Book of Jubilees. The Book of Jubilees, also known as Lesser Genesis, is an ancient Jewish apocryphal text containing 50 chapters. This book, which was probably written between 135 and 105 BCE, isn't officially part of the Old Testament, but it offers a deeper understanding of these lesser-known individuals. It retells events from the books of Genesis and Exodus and sheds light on characters like the daughters of Adam. The Book of Jubilees is like a secret version of the Book of Genesis, kind of like a hidden bonus track on an album. It tells stories and shares names that might not have been important enough for the regular Bible. By reading these lesser-known stories, we can learn more about the people in the Bible and what their lives were like. Does this ancient text really open our eyes to the hidden truths not found in the Bible? Let's find out. This really old book takes us back to a time when people talked to God and there were special beings in the sky. It breaks history into periods of 49 years called Jubilees and tells us all about what happened during those times. Moses was the one who got all this information from God. The Book of Jubilees is from a really long time ago, dating back to the 2nd century BCE. It adds more details and layers to the stories we already know, giving us a better understanding of what life was like in ancient times. The Book of Jubilees holds substantial significance within the religious traditions of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church and Beta Israel, Ethiopian Jews, who refer to it as the Book of Division. However, it is not included in the official religious texts of other major Christian denominations, such as Eastern Orthodox, Catholic, and Protestant churches, as well as Jewish sects. Despite this, its impact on religious history is considerable, as it offers comprehensive accounts of events from the beginning of the world to the time of Moses, organized around 49-year periods called Jubilees. It includes detailed stories and names such as Awan and Azura, the daughters of Adam and Eve, which are absent from the canonical Bible. These additional details provide a broader perspective on the lives of early human families, revealing valuable insights into their experiences and offering moral and spiritual lessons. The significance of the Book of Jubilees is further emphasized by its presence among the Dead Sea Scrolls and its citation by early Christian church leaders and Jewish scholars. While it may not be an official text for many modern faith traditions, its influence on the development of religious thought, particularly within apocalyptic literature, remains undeniably important. The preservation of the Book of Jubilees, particularly within the Dead Sea Scrolls, emphasizes its significance and influence on history and culture. Although not part of the official religious narratives, this text enriches our understanding of early biblical characters and their contexts, providing a deeper insight into the early stages of biblical history and thought. Does this text play a role in modern society? Acting as a living connection between the past and present, the Book of Jubilees allows modern readers to engage with the intricate web of beliefs, traditions, and narratives of ancient communities. This showcases the dynamic nature of sacred stories as they evolve over time, reflecting the changing beliefs, questions, and challenges of those who hold them dear. For those eager to explore lesser-known aspects of biblical history, the Book of Jubilees offers a unique journey into the heart of ancient spiritual tradition. Known as Little Genesis, it provides an expanded perspective on well-known biblical stories, such as creation and the experiences of Adam and Eve, adding new details and insights to these familiar tales. This really old book, which is from around 700 BCE, gives us a peek into a super interesting story that happened even before the book itself was written. It's kind of mysterious because we're not sure who wrote it, but some people think it might have been Moses, and that he got the ideas from talking to God on Mount Horeb. It's all very intriguing. People who study the Bible have debates about the Book of Jubilees, and it makes them think about how sacred texts are made and understood. Instead of just focusing on the usual characters and stories, this book looks at different ones and gives us a new way to think about what happened. It shows that there's a connection between God's inspiration and the people who wrote the stories down. The book also tells us about Adam and Eve's family, like their daughters Aklima and Awan. It's interesting to learn about their relationships and how they lived back then. These stories help us see how people lived a long time ago and how their traditions shaped the world. The Book of Jubilees also makes us think about early human communities and how they did things. It talks about how people married their siblings and what that meant for the population. When we read books like the Book Jubilees, we can learn more about our spiritual history and how these old stories have influenced our culture and morals. It's amazing to see how powerful these stories are and how they make us think and wonder. The fascinating Book of Jubilees, just like the mysterious Book of Enoch, had a special spot in the early Christian group. It became a part of their special collection of holy writings. This inclusion reminds us to treasure the Book of Jubilees because it adds more meaning to well-known Bible stories, even though it is considered apocryphal. The most intriguing part of Jubilees is the daughters of Eve. In this ancient text, we learn about Aven, or Awan, who was believed to be the first daughter of Adam and Eve. Her name meant strength or misdeed in ancient Hebrew. Avan was not only Cain's wife, but also his sister. Some accounts also refer to her as Kelima. Aven had children with Cain, including Enoch, who had a city named after him. These stories mix fact and fiction, making us wonder who Cain's wife and sister really were. Another character, Azura, is not as well known. She was Seth's partner. Seth was born to Adam and Eve after Abel's tragic death. Seth symbolized a fresh start and divine comfort. Azura's lineage is famous for their devotion and leads to Noah, who played a central role in the biblical flood story. Interestingly, even though these figures and their stories are important, their existence is based on fragments of narratives that were once considered too unconventional for mainstream scripture. The Book of Jubilees stands as a testament to the dynamic nature of religious texts and their evolution over time. This evolution is not solely driven by theological considerations, but also by factors such as authority, influence, and strategic considerations. By examining the Book of Jubilees and the broader context of biblical storytelling, we gain a deeper understanding of the complex processes that have shaped our spiritual heritage across generations. The study of ancient religious narratives reveals their adaptability and flexibility as they have been molded, expanded, and occasionally edited by individuals throughout history to better align with the beliefs and values of their respective eras. The discovery of fragments of stories featuring figures like Avan, Kelima, and Azura underscores the ever-changing nature of sacred narratives and the significant role that storytellers have played in shaping our interpretation of them. The Book of Jubilees serves as a prime example of this intricate network of interconnected stories that continue to captivate our imagination and stimulate intellectual discourse in the present day. The more we learn about the Book of Jubilees, the more intriguing it gets. The ancient Jewish apocryphal text known as the Book of Jubilees presents a fascinating narrative of biblical history, spanning from the creation account to the time of Moses. Consisting of 50 chapters and 1,341 verses, this text is also referred to as Lesser Genesis or Little Genesis. While it is not considered part of the canonical scriptures in many Jewish and Christian traditions, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church and Ethiopian Jews include Jubilees in their scriptural canon. Organized around the concept of Jubilee periods, which are 49-year cycles, the book underscores the significance of the Jubilee year in the Bible, focusing on themes like rest, debt forgiveness, and liberation. Jubilees delve into lesser-known biblical characters and narratives, shedding light on figures such as the daughters of Adam and Eve, as well as specific classes of angels. This provides a more nuanced understanding of the stories and laws found in the books of Genesis and Exodus. Scholars widely attribute the authorship of the Book of Jubilees to Pharisees in the 2nd century BC, a time marked by discussions on law, calendar adjustments, and the identity of Israel as God's chosen people. Fragments of this text, discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls, highlight its importance in the religious practices of early Jewish communities, particularly the Qumran sect. Despite its historical and religious significance, debates over the canonicity and authorship of Jubilees have resulted in its exclusion from the biblical canon in many traditions. Factors such as the limited availability of early manuscripts in the original language and theological disputes have played a role in this decision. Nevertheless, the text's influence on early Christian theology is evident, as it is referenced by prominent religious figures and has shaped religious narratives and concepts throughout history. Here's the question: what actually caused the exclusion of the Book of Jubilees from the Bible despite its influence on Christian theology? The exclusion of Jubilees from the canon of religious texts can be attributed to various factors, such as its composition outside of Israel, uncertain authorship, and deviation from mainstream Jewish and early Christian beliefs. This book presents a unique solar calendar, distinct perspectives on spiritual beings, and advocates for the separation between Jewish people and others, which distinguishes it from established religious teachings. However, despite its exclusion, Jubilees provides valuable insights into the beliefs and practices of the Second Temple period. It serves as a link between the narratives of the Old Testament and the development of Christian theology. Scholars study Jubilees to gain a deeper understanding of its historical context and as an early form of scriptural interpretation. Through its analysis, expansion, and teachings, Jubilees demonstrates how ancient texts were examined and elucidated. The Book of Jubilees delves into the complex relationships and family dynamics of early biblical figures, presenting a narrative that resembles a captivating television series about the origins of humanity. It explores the story of Azura, who becomes Seth's wife after the death of her initial husband, Abel. This portrayal highlights a different understanding of marriage compared to contemporary standards. Jubilees records the lives of these characters using a timeline based on Jubilees, which are 49-year periods and weeks, providing a sense of divine order to their interconnected family histories. It states that Enoch, born from the marriage of Azura and Seth, continues the family tradition of marrying within the family by marrying his sister Noam. This practice, considered unethical by today's standards, was upheld by Enoch and his ancestors. Let's talk a little bit about Enoch. Enoch holds significance due to his direct lineage from Adam and Eve, as well as his role in initiating the practice of calling upon God's name. This act represents a significant religious awakening among his people and stands out amidst the complex family history as a moment of devotion and clarity. The name Enoch means mortal man in Hebrew, symbolizing a pivotal moment when humans acknowledged their mortality and redefined their understanding of their connection with the divine. Throughout Enoch's lifetime, individuals actively sought out the divine, marking the beginning of communal worship and potentially the rise of monotheistic beliefs. This spiritual revival, however, was short-lived, as subsequent generations deviated from these beliefs, ultimately leading to the Great Flood. Enoch's influence transcends his period and extends across various cultural and religious boundaries. In the Ethiopian Orthodox tradition, he is revered for introducing the Ge'ez alphabet to humanity following a divine revelation. This exemplifies his role in upholding spiritual laws and teachings for future generations, earning him recognition as a dedicated servant of God. He also authored the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch comprises various distinct works, predominantly of apocalyptic nature. This text exhibits significant parallels with Babylonian mythology, especially in its depiction of Enoch as a seer who receives divine revelations, akin to the Babylonian ruler Enmendarana. Enoch's narrative is notable for its perspectives on messianism, celibacy, and the afterlife, potentially influenced by the Essene sect of Jews at Qumran. Despite this, no fragments of the Book of Enoch were discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls, prompting some scholars to propose that certain portions were composed later by a Jewish Christian. This book contains distinctive content on the origins of demons and Nephilim, the fall of certain angels, the necessity of the Great Flood, and a prophetic account of the Messiah's millennial reign. While initially embraced by the early Christian community, the Book of Enoch was eventually excluded from the biblical canon. During the time of Enoch, the resurgence of spirituality provided us with insight into the ebb and flow of faith and devotion to God within societies. It illustrates the ongoing struggle between maintaining a connection with the divine and the errors that humans make, a recurring theme in numerous religious narratives. Through Enoch's descendants, such as Noah, we witness how belief and righteousness can persist throughout generations, despite the multitude of challenges and hardships faced. These accounts not only delve into the dynamics of early human societies, but also inspire contemplation on the fundamental aspects of family, faith, and morality. They emphasize the enduring influence of ancient stories in shaping contemporary comprehension of human values and convictions. Viewing the spread of humans from the Book of Jubilees is very phenomenal. Have you ever paused to ask, how did Eve give birth to so many children? When viewed through a modern lens, the extraordinary fertility attributed to Adam and Eve in Jubilees may appear almost mythical. A modern-day example can give a glimpse of that kind of fertility. Let's look at Mariam from Uganda. Mariam Nabatanzi is a Ugandan woman who has gained attention for giving birth to 44 children, 38 of whom are still living as of April 2023. Born circa 1980, Babari had her first child at the age of 13, following a forced marriage at 12. By the time she was 36, she had given birth to a total of 44 children from 15 pregnancies, which included 3 sets of quadruplets, 4 sets of triplets, and 6 sets of twins. Is there a probability this was the case in the story of Adam and Eve? Let's also take a look at other mythology of creation to see if we can find an answer to this. First is the Sumerian account of the creation. The Sumerian creation account is an ancient tale that describes the beginnings of the world, the creation of humankind, and a catastrophic flood. In this story, the gods created humans from clay to serve them and work the land. They also founded cities and established rulership on earth. However, the gods chose to destroy humanity through a massive flood. A man called Ziusudra, with guidance from the god Enki, constructed an ark and survived the flood. In the enthralling Sumerian narrative of creation, humanity was brought into being by the deities, who molded them from clay. These celestial entities had a specific intention for mankind: to cultivate the land, care for the herds, and offer reverence to the gods. Consequently, humans were entrusted with the crucial responsibilities of agriculture, animal husbandry, and religious worship. However, the gods wielded considerable influence over human affairs, bestowing their wisdom and authorizing rulership. They not only fashioned humans, but also laid the groundwork for civilization, erecting splendid cities as focal points of cultural and economic activity. These metropolitan hubs, erected under the guidance of the gods themselves, functioned as centers of innovation, commerce, and political authority. Looking at this account, it states that the gods made man and woman themselves, and they were not offspring of one man and woman. It differs from the biblical narratives and the Book of Jubilees, making us wonder if Eve was able to procreate excessively. The next is Greek mythology. In Greek mythology, it is said that the Titan Prometheus was responsible for the creation of mankind. After the war between the Titans and the Olympians, Prometheus and his brother Epimetheus were given the task of creating humans. Prometheus molded man out of mud, and then Athena breathed life into the clay figure. However, Prometheus, who held a deep affection for humanity, decided to grant them the ability to stand upright like the gods and bestowed upon them the gift of fire. However, Zeus, the king of the Olympians, was displeased with this act of kindness. In response, Zeus took away fire from mankind. Undeterred, Prometheus obtained fire by lighting a torch from the sun and returned it to humanity. This made Zeus furious with Prometheus's actions, decided to inflict a severe punishment upon both mankind and Prometheus. To punish humanity, Zeus ordered Hephaestus to create Pandora, the first woman, and sent her to live among humans with a jar containing all the evils of the world. Pandora's curiosity led her to open the jar, releasing these evils into the world. Only hope remained inside when she managed to close it again. As for Prometheus himself, he was condemned to be chained to a rock in the Caucasus Mountains. Each day, an eagle would devour his liver, only for it to regenerate and be eaten again the following day. This torment continued until Prometheus was eventually freed. This myth also gives a different account entirely. And finally, let's look at the Asian and African mythologies. In Chinese mythology, the goddess Nuwa takes center stage as the creator of mankind. Legend has it that she meticulously crafted the first humans from yellow clay, shaping each one with her skilled hands. As time went on, Nuwa sought a more efficient method and began using a rope dipped in clay, flicking it to create individuals with each droplet. According to the Chinese myth, the world itself owes its existence to the deity Pangu, who emerged from the chaos and skillfully separated the heavens and the earth. In a remarkable transformation, Pangu's body became the very elements that make up our natural world. What about African mythology? Across the vast continent of Africa, creation myths vary greatly, reflecting the incredible diversity of its cultures. Among the Fulani people of Mali, a fascinating tale unfolds. It speaks of the god Dundari, who fashioned the world from a single drop of milk, and then proceeded to shape man from the very elements. However, man's pride grew too great, prompting Dundari to create a series of beings to humble him, ultimately leading to the emergence of death. Meanwhile, the Nupe people of Nigeria share their own story of creation. According to their beliefs, God created tortoises, men, and stones. However, only tortoises and men were granted the gift of life. The longing for children introduced the concept of death into the world. It's obvious different people from different backgrounds have their perception of the creation of mankind, and no one gives definite answers of how mankind came to multiply on Earth. We are left to believe the Book of Jubilees, which actually contradicts modern science that believes man originated from apes and went through so many metamorphoses to become Homo sapiens. Meanwhile, the Book of Jubilees holds more intriguing details about the daughters of Adam and Eve. The examination of ancient genealogies and narratives found in biblical texts offers a captivating insight into humanity's relentless pursuit to uncover its ancestral lineage. Within the broader narrative of Adam and Eve's family, the stories of Azura, Enoch, and Seth intricately depict the complexities of early human society, seamlessly blending spiritual beliefs with the dynamics of family life. These accounts, sourced from a combination of canonical and apocryphal texts, unveil the profound depth of ancient traditions and legends that envelop the origins of our existence. Azura's tale, prominently featured in the Book of Jubilees, serves as a prime example of the intricate familial relationships that characterized the early stages of human proliferation. As both a daughter of Adam and Eve and the wife of Seth, Azura's dual role accentuates the paramount importance of familial bonds during this era. The Book of Jubilees, regarded as canonical within certain faith traditions, presents a comprehensive genealogy that underscores the interconnectedness of these primordial figures. Enoch, the son of Seth and grandson of Adam and Eve, holds a significant role in early religious history for his contributions to the spiritual development of humanity. Born in his father's later years, Enoch lived a remarkably long life, reminiscent of his ancestors. His narrative is essential for comprehending the spiritual connections of early humans, particularly in terms of their worship practices and relationship with a higher being. Meanwhile, the story of Eve in the Bible and scientific discoveries show us a remarkable mother with a fascinating and puzzling tale. Eve had a huge family, almost like a whole town, and she lived for up to 900 years. Her ability to have so many children was way beyond what we see today. This big family shows us how important it was to have lots of kids back in ancient times to survive. The Bible also talks about Adam's family growing, with many daughters being born. This makes these ancient family stories feel more relatable. The stories even suggest that Adam and Eve's children brought a lot of diversity into the world, hinting that the first humans were of different races. The concept being discussed predates current conversations surrounding race and genetics, providing a distinct viewpoint on the matter. Mitochondrial Eve, a scientific theory that emerged from research conducted in the late 20th century, combines ancient narratives with contemporary science. It supports the idea that every individual alive today can trace their ancestry back to a single woman who resided in Africa approximately 140,000 to 200,000 years ago. This discovery aligns with the out-of-Africa theory of human evolution and serves as evidence of the unity and interdependence of the human race. Mitochondrial DNA, which is inherited exclusively from mothers without any changes, plays a crucial role in tracing lineage through maternal lines. That's not all. While mitochondrial Eve represents the most recent common female ancestor for all living individuals, it is important to note that other women also existed during her time and gave birth to children. However, their maternal lineages did not persist until the present day. The story of mitochondrial Eve is captivating as it establishes a universal great-grandmother for all humans through their maternal lineage. This narrative emphasizes our shared ancestry and underscores the profound interconnectedness of human history. The investigation of mitochondrial Eve has made a significant contribution to our comprehension of human evolution, genetic inheritance, and historical migration patterns. The distinct characteristics of mitochondrial DNA, mtDNA, which is exclusively transmitted from mothers to their offspring, allow scientists to trace matrilineal lineages and acquire valuable insights into our ancestral origins. In the late 20th century, studies were conducted to analyze mutations in mtDNA to estimate the time frame of our common female ancestor. Despite facing criticism regarding the methodology employed and the implications it holds for the evolutionary history of humans, the concept of mitochondrial Eve has remained robust. Subsequent research has not only supported the initial findings, but has also provided further illumination into the intricate nature of human evolution. Interestingly, the phenomenon of a mitochondrial Eve is not exclusive to humans. Researchers have also identified similar ancestral figures in other species, such as sperm whales, thereby demonstrating the broader applicability of mtDNA as a tool for investigating the historical lineage of various life forms on Earth. Associating the scientific concept of mitochondrial Eve directly with the biblical Eve oversimplifies the intricate narrative of human evolution and migration that has unfolded over thousands of years. The diverse range of modern human races and ethnicities cannot be solely attributed to a single biblical event. Instead, it is the outcome of a complex and lengthy process of evolution and global dispersion that has spanned millennia. The amalgamation of ancient tales and contemporary genetic research serves to foster critical thinking and a lighthearted approach to our quest for origins. It exemplifies our inherent fascination with our beginnings and our yearning to establish connections between diverse histories, all while reconciling scientific evidence, cultural narratives, and religious beliefs. Ultimately, this endeavor reflects the boundless curiosity of humanity and our ongoing endeavor to construct a comprehensive understanding of our genesis, using stories, science, and spirituality. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, drop a comment in the comment section, and turn on your notification bell.